Hi, today will be an intermediate, maybe slightly advanced reading lesson, and it will focus on a 21st century Chinese poem titled Cha. So we will go through the poem line by line, translate it line by line, and then look at the official translation and see how it all works. So the poem is called Cha, so Tea by Jing Qiufeng, a contemporary poet who is an engineer by day, because of course earning a living from writing poetry is impossible in any country. So it's a short poem, so we'll just pull the whole thing up and look at maybe some vocabulary that some of you might not know. 从秀山秀水的地方走来，总是落着雾样的小雨里走来，从一阵阵优美的歌声里走来。你是江南的女子，你离不开水，浴在水中，你就像回到秀山秀水的家乡，总是落着小雨的家乡，回到了飞出一阵阵优美的歌声的家乡。你想家的时候，水也有了江南的味道。So, as you can see, the cha in the title is not mentioned in the text of the poem, so it is merely implied. So let's just take it line by line and consider some of the vocabulary that might be new to some people. So, 从秀山秀水的地方走来. So, from, 从 is from 秀山秀水. So, 秀山 is a place in Chongqing and 秀水 is a place in Taiwan. However, 秀山秀水 is an expression here that I think means just beautiful scenery. As in 鸟语花香, bird song, and beautiful flowers, which is a fixed expression in Chinese. So, 秀 is from yo shou, which means outstanding. So, the stunning mountain, stunning water. So, from the beautiful scenery, so coming from the place of beautiful scenery. That's how I would translate this first line. 从秀山秀水的地方走来. Line 2. 总是落着雾样的小雨里走来. So 总是 always 落着 is to fall slowly, as in 落叶 falling leaves. So 落着 is descend. Wu, so 雾样 descending fog. 的小雨走来. So 小雨 drizzle or a small amount of rain from the small amount of rain that comes from the descending fog. So line 1, coming from the place of beautiful scenery. Line 2, coming from the drizzle that descends with the fog. This is a very clumsy translation. We will look at the official one momentarily. So, 从一阵阵优美的歌声里走来. So, 阵 here is a measure word and it just means a batch, an amount. So, an array, if you will. 优美的歌声 coming from the array of beautiful music. So coming from the beautiful scenery, coming from the light rain, coming from the beautiful music. 你是江南的女子. So Jiangnan is an actual place in China. It is the provinces, so Zhejiang, Jiangsu, Jiangxi, that are maybe Fujian too, the provinces to the south of Shanghai, which are one of the engines of the Chinese economic miracle. So, for example, Alibaba is based in Hangzhou, which is in Jiangnan. Suning is based in Suzhou, also in Jiangnan. But in this context, Jiangnan also just means south of the river. So, 你是江南的女子 doesn't necessarily mean you were a woman from Jiangnan. It could mean you were a woman from south of the river, because of course modern Chinese life is all about migration from the country to the city, and occasionally back again when visiting family. 你离不开水 So you can't leave the water. So I think with this scene, you're meant to be picturing a young woman bathing in a lake or river, as was, of course, the norm for millennia. 浴在水中, so 浴 as in to bathe, so 浴在水中, bathing in the water. So again, the symbol here is the water of a river or lake, which is nature, but also the title of this poem is tea, so the water of a cup of tea. So tea houses in Chinese culture occupy a similar position to pubs in British and Irish culture. That they're important places where, for example, business deals are done. People go to meet marriage partners, etc. So it's also, so tea is can mean urbanization and high status. 你就像回到秀山秀水的家乡. So similar to the first line, so 秀山秀水, beautiful scenery. So you are bathing in the water, or so drinking a tea is just like returning to your picturesque hometown. 回到总是落着小雨的家乡. So returning to your hometown where the light rain is always falling. 回到总是落着小雨的家乡. 回到了飞出一阵阵优美的歌声的家乡. So returning to your hometown where the stunning music is playing. 你想家的时候, when you miss home, 水也有了江南的味道. The water, the water in the tea tastes just like Jiangnan, your hometown. So we'll look at the official translation from Wang Meifu and Michael Soper and see how similar it is. Though lovely scenery come and go in the drizzle of fog and mist, trailing the sound of beautiful singing, here you are, a Yangtze River girl. You can't leave the water. You live. You bathe in the water, as if to relive the lovely scenery of your home in the fog and mist, where music floats out at every turn. Homesick, you taste the river in your tea. So this poem is both pastoral and socially aware of the reality of modern China, which is migrating from the countryside to the rat race, if you will. And I think it owes a lot. So as a quick diversion, migration and being far away from home has always been a major theme in Chinese poetry. So possibly the most famous poem in the entire language is one from the Tang dynasty, and it was written by Li Bai, who was a very colourful character. So every Chinese school kid will know this poem. So the poem is called Jing Qiufeng, and it's usually translated as Thoughts on a Quiet Night by Li Bai. 床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡. So, the Tang dynasty is one of the peaks of Chinese culture. So every Chinese school kid will learn the poems of唐诗宋词元曲. So poetry from the Tang dynasty, the Song dynasty, and the Yuan dynasty. For them it's almost the equivalent of probably Shakespeare, Milton, and Chaucer rolled into one, and Beowulf too. So it's usually translated as this: At the foot of my bed, moonlight. Yes, I suppose there is frost on the ground. Lifting my head, I gaze at the bright moon. Bowing my head, thinking of home. So the narrator sees the moonlight at the foot of their bed, and it reminds them of frost on the ground. They lift their head and look at the moon shining. They bow their head, and it makes them think of home. So because the moon shines on you wherever you are in the world, and for some people it helps remind them of home. So I hope you enjoy the poem Cha by Jing Qiufeng. It's a very accessible poem and a great insight into Chinese life and literature.